Right now, we're at this interesting stage where there's a recession, but nobody wants to admit it. And it is an employee recession, not an employer recession. Because when you think about it, it's the employees that are getting laid off, the employees that are having problems. And the recession isn't about the companies not making money, it's about them letting people go. So what do I mean by all that? And what do I need, what am I even saying about the thumbnail that I had? So I've been on a little journey on Googling stuff, and I've been looking at why are businesses moving to a 6-day work week. Now you'd be like, why would businesses move to a 6-day work week? Well, a little while ago, Samsung moved to a 6-day work week, right? And I was like, when I read this, I was like, God, it's just Samsung, right? Can't be right. So I kind of scraped by and said, it's probably just temporary. They probably had a bad year or something. So I was like, let's not worry about it. It's not worth reporting because it's just not the standard, right? So now comes out today that Greece is moving to a 6-day work week. The country, not the company or something like a grill that's called Greece. No, Greece, the country in Europe, is working to a 6-day work week. And that is the first country that actually is doing something like it, right? And now, then I went down the rabbit hole and was like, who of executives thinks that this is a smart thing in the United States? So if Greece does it, Samsung does it, then I'm like, there must be companies in or people in the US that think that this is a great idea, right? So nearly 1 in 10 business leaders say companies will expect to have 6-day work weeks in 2025, right? So now I'm looking at it like, something isn't right, because companies are making, as you can see here, this is from the government, are making record-breaking profits. So I got this from a website from Forbes actually, and Heinz made $2.9 billion in profit, Exxon $36 billion, JP Morgan Chase 49, Delta made 4.6, and all these other ones, right? So now I'm looking at it like, okay, they're making these huge profits, and Samsung did a 6-day work week. So how much did Samsung make? What was the profit from Samsung, right? Because you're like, hey, Samsung started this all right with the 6-day work week. What are their profits? Samsung operational profit in the fiscal year of 2023 was 43 trillion, which results into roughly 32 billion US dollars. So they made so much profit in asking their executives to come back, right? Working 6 days actually. They're working 6 days a week when making this much profit. And so I read about that article that executives want their companies to have a 6-day work week because productivity is down and they want higher profits. I'm looking at these billions, B with a B, in profits, and I'm asking, what more do they want? Because at one point, at what stage is enough enough? Because you can only milk the cow so much till there's nothing to do. And that brings me to the next part. So now, where all these companies are laying people off and saying, you know what? Let's make more money. I'm gonna fire you. And now you're fired, you're sitting at home, and you cannot get another job because companies need to make a record profit, right? So now we're looking at it like, oh shit, I'm not able to sell my merchandise. I'm not able to sell my stuff at these high prices because nobody has a job. I was like, oh, shocking, right? So now I'm looking at, which companies are lowering prices? Because we are in a recession, believe it or not. Not in a recession where big companies are not making money, in a recession for employees where people actually work, right? So 2008 was the housing recession. This one is the workers' recession. So now let's look at who's lowering prices. So now Amazon Fresh is cutting 30% of 4,000 items, 30%, up to 30% off and 4,000 items. So What does that mean? That means that they're too expensive and they can't sell it, it's sitting too long, and they need to move it, so they're slashing prices. So now, Aldi, $100 million in price cuts, but no percentage specified. Okay, they're lowering prices. Target, Walmart, Walgreens are cutting prices also. So what does that mean? That means that there has been a pushback in prices, that people weren't buying, people weren't liking what the company was doing or what was going on, and so they said, no, I'm not gonna buy iced tea. And I've always been talking about this Tazo tea right here that's now like $10.90 at my Safeway. I used to buy it all the time. It was like $3. It was like a price of a Starbucks cup, and I used to make 3 or 4 of them, and I thought it was a great value deal because you can stretch it with some water and you can do all that. But now at $11, there's no bargain. It's just sitting in the shelves. So now I'm definitely not going to buy it because it's $11. It's crazy, ridiculous, right? So now all these items that have been sitting on the shelves, how long has it been going on that they're jacked up the prices and made another profit? Because this first quarter, they've probably made 30% extra. And now we're slowly seeing the pullback because consumers do not have the money. This is not ending well. And guess what? If you're the only one making money in your, as the CEO or something, it's no fun, because what are you going to do? What are you going to do with all that money when nobody else has it? Yeah, you can fly private and do all that, but how great is it going to be in your Bentley when everything else is turning to shit and you're in the ghetto, in your own neighborhood? You're going to build higher walls and be protected. So you can't do that. You gotta figure out something. But when you're making billions upon billions in profits, you gotta think like, hey, maybe we should hire some people to innovate. Because if there's a downturn in the market, that creates innovation. And if you let the wrong people go, those might be go-getters, and those people, if they come together and unite and develop a great product, will give you a run for your money. And I did a video the other day about the tariffs, how I think, that these Chinese golf carts should come into the United States. I still think that these tariffs, these golf carts, CEOs do not need to make $30, $25+ million for jet setting around the world and drinking coffee and, going to Hermes and buying bags in France and then heading back. That is not what a CEO should do, and like wine and dine and do all this kind of stuff. No. You need to make sure that your employees are taken care of and your shareholders. But, who cares about any of that? Because you can always file for bankruptcy. And while you do that, you let 1,000 people go, and then you buy another multi-million-dollar jet and you won again. So as a CEO from a big company, there's literally no losing. There's only winning. Regardless of how you play, you'd always win. It's funny. It's like when you play Monopoly and you just flip the board around and say, haha, gotcha, you're the broke guy now, and I'm the rich guy, so this is how we play the rules. Or I'm gonna just take all your money. And if everything fails, I'll ask the government. I ask my lobbyist friends that they can, put me in some bill, put me, in the bottom of a bill about healthcare, and let's just put in that we're gonna get some funding and some grants because, I helped their campaigns out. So all these things are gonna come to an end pretty sure here, because when Americans cannot afford groceries, they definitely cannot afford fun activities. And I did a poll on YouTube, and this is not like a scientific poll, but I asked like, hey, are you going on a vacation and paying for credit card debt, right? Are you paying with credit card debt, or are you paying in cash for it, right? So now let's check it out. What are people saying? So this is not, like I said, this is not a scientific thing, but 76%, no, I'm not putting my vacation on a credit card. 76%. 11%, yes, I'm not sure how long it will take to pay off. And 13%, yes, but I have a plan to pay it off. So 25% of Americans are putting it on a credit card and actually postponing the payments. And 25% of Americans is a huge, huge deal, right? If this is, a broader number. But not everybody watches my channel, and I only got a few thousand followers, so hit the like and subscribe button so we can get more accurate data and we can get more active polls and help our community members and all that kind of stuff. So now, and have even better discussions, I need to add that, right? So now I'm looking at it like, okay, we are at a spot where people cannot afford the prices and there's getting pushback. And now what we're seeing is, and this is what I'm seeing middle class people, if that still exists, right? That's a whole nother question. And you guys should let me know in the comments below. Are these people now shopping at Walmart? So when you have like these brackets, right? Like wealthy, super wealthy, ultra rich, and you have the middle class, and then you have the people that are just really out of luck, right? And now when these upper middle class people are heading to hard times, normally they shop at Trader Joe's, they shop at, they shop at Whole Foods, they do all these things. And even Whole Foods is lowering their prices because they're getting pushback. And before, they haven't gotten pushback. So now, when you're looking at it, and you're looking at, Amazon Fresh deliveries, they need to cut 30%. And I think 30% isn't just a random number they pulled. They're not saying, oh, we're just gonna pick a number and do that. So they made 30% extra profit on top of what they've made before, right? So when you have a graph, right, there's profit and then there's just what it costs, right? So let's say an item costs $10, right? And now they're cutting it by 30%. So that means they're taking $3 off. And they probably still make a profit. And now the question is, for how long have they sold that item for $10 when they could have sold it for $7 and still made a profit? Because I don't think Amazon is gonna lose money on the deal, right? And now I'm thinking, that must have been 1 or 2 quarters or a year or so where they've kept the prices up high and blamed inflation, right? They said, oh, inflation is killing us, we gotta raise our prices, it's costing us more. But people just did it because they wanted to. They just did it to increase profits, to buy back stocks for shareholders, and do all that kind of money with no real merit, just because they can, right? They just said, oh, just to keep up the prices, we're just gonna, increase it. So now, with all these products that have been, that are on discount now, and they're still making profits. So now I wonder if people are gonna wake up and say, hey, you guys screwed us over for so long, and I'm just not gonna shop with you no more, and we're just gonna go to another spot, right? The only problem with that is that there's not enough competition, because we as Americans are not that willing to put in the effort. We're super lazy and we love convenience, right? So we shop at Amazon, we eliminate the competition, and when you have no competition, then you can do whatever you want with the prices. And so now we're seeing that there's pushback. So it is 5 minutes before 12 o'clock, before it strikes midnight, and something is gonna have to happen and give before this whole card house collapses and people are gonna be like, nah, this ain't right, and just default on mortgages, default on cars, default on credit cards, and then we have a big mess in our hand. And now you can say, oh, it's a president, it's this and that, and it comes down to greed. It comes down to that everybody wanted more money, and the market just didn't bear those prices. And when you look at all these tech workers that got laid off, and they used to go to Whole Foods, they used to, live a nice life, got laid off now, that are laid off and can't support their surrounding fields, their surrounding coffee shops and all this kind of other stuff, and are saying, now I stay home and I go shopping at Walmart. And so Walmart is seeing, oh, and even when Walmart sees prices, that there's pushback on prices, because Walmart isn't like Whole Foods where it's like a more luxury brand, right? Walmart is kind of, hey, you can go there, it has a little bit of everything, some higher end prices, some lower end prices, but it always kind of has it, right? So it's kind of like a store for the middle and lower class, right? I don't see, and even Shaq O'Neal goes shop in there, so there you go, right? So it's kind of a store for everybody. And when they see pushback on prices, that's not a good sign. Walmart and dollar stores where you see them close, and I don't know if they closed because of that they've closed because of theft and all that. Something is coming up. Something is about to fold, and their federal interest rate is still the same. They haven't lowered it as of I'm making this video. They could in the next few days do it, or in the next year, and I don't know when that is, but they gotta lower it so people can actually buy houses again, because even house prices, it's like the lowest, it's like the peak selling time, right? Like summertime, people want to move to a better school district, and that is not happening. House prices have been like house sales have been like the slowest ever. And yeah, this is a general statement and not an area specific. You might be in an area where it's super poppin', and some other people that are watching might not be very popular. The house sits on the market for quite some time. So yeah, you guys should let me know what you guys think. When you're watching this video, I'm in Europe, probably filming my next video. Let me know what you want me to talk about, what you want me to make a video about. So you can also go into my profile and actually find my email and send me interesting articles that you guys want me to make videos about. So I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my super loyal followers. I love you. You're always commenting on each video. I actually look for your comments. If you want to do that too, make sure to always leave a comment, and I will try to remember the picture on the video, and then I will send you like, hey, you know, it's good seeing you in my comment section, and I'll start to get to notice you, because I try to always respond to comments the first few hours then that the video goes online. And yeah, be one of those. I'd love for you to be one of them, actually, and so we can grow this community of out-of-the-box thinkers where we talk about stuff, we have interesting debates, we take care of each other and help each other out, because the last thing I want for you guys is to be hurting or not or having struggles. So this is it for this video. I appreciate you. Thanks so much, and I'll see ya in the next one, and I'll be in Switzerland.